Before starting the experiment, let me introduce you about the major things of this experiment. So the very first you have to know about what is meant by blood pressure. Blood pressure is the pressure of circulating blood on the walls of blood vessels. This pressure is basically shows the work done by the heart pumping blood through the circulating system. So as you know, there are the two types of blood pressure. The first one is systolic blood pressure and the second one is diastolic blood pressure. You have to know about what is systolic blood pressure and what is diastolic blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure is the pressure when your heart works and pumps blood throughout the body. And the second one is diastolic blood pressure, when your heart relaxes after pumping the blood throughout the body. That is called the diastolic blood pressure. Now let me introduce you about the basic components of this experiment. The very first is our NI Elvis 2 instrument, that is consist of breadboard and prototyping board. First I connect the prototype board connector in the breadboard, and then the connections I make the 4 connections with the prototyping board. The first one is, you can see in this video, if I zoom in, the ground will connect to the ground, 5 volt DC power supply connect to the 5 volt, and the A1 ground is connect to the plus 1 volt, and the S1 G1 is connect to the minus 1. So these are the connections that we do in this experiment. So connect the cuff to the left arm 2 cm above from the elbow, and you can take care that these 2 wires will come above to the brachial artery, so it is necessary to keep the blood pressure. Now it is the prototype connector connect in the breadboard. After performing the experiment, we get this output in the form of image. This is the image that we take before physical activity. Now allow your volunteer to do some physical activity. Then connect the cuff again and take the blood pressure, and then the output comes in the form of image that is showing in this screen. If we compare the image before and after the physical activities, it shows that blood pressure comes after physical activity is greater. So we have to know why the blood pressure comes after physical activity is greater than the blood pressure we take before physical activity. So the point is that what is the reason of low blood pressure? So let me tell you this thing. The reason behind this scenario is that when we do the physical activity, your muscles need the more oxygen than you do when you are at the rest. So you have to breathe more quickly. Your heart starts to pump harder and faster to circulate the blood to deliver oxygen to the muscles. That's why the blood pressure after physical activity is increased as compared to the blood pressure we take before the physical activity.